A 1, 2. Hey everybody, welcome back to Swiftlessons for another lead guitar tutorial. In my last video, I showed you how to restring this Fender American Original 60s Telecaster with vintage tuners. We slapped a pair of Elixir 946s on there, and now it's playing great. So we're going to use the exact same guitar to learn some essential soloing techniques over one of the most iconic blues tunes, Key to the Highway. Now, today we're going to think about something that's very, very crucial to your soloing. The 3 things you need to learn if you want to be able to play with a sense of direction and also with confidence. They are chord forms. Okay, being able to picture the various positions of the chord that you're playing over top of. Second, you need to be able to visualize arpeggios of those chords. For example, an A7 arpeggio. And third, you need to be able to picture overlapping scale patterns. So if you have a chord shape, like this A7 bar chord shape, always overlapping with the chord shape, you're going to have a scale pattern. For example, the minor blues scale. Perhaps with the addition of a major third for extra flavor. Okay, if you can visualize those 3 things, then you're going to be able to start constructing licks that are tailor-fitted to the given changes. Okay, now let's get started with our solo. Okay, taking a close look at the fretboard, getting started with our solo. But first, I want to let y'all know that our friends over at Elixir are going to be giving away some free strings. If you want to win a pack, all you need to do is comment down below, like, and share this video. Now, getting started, learning our solo, we really should discuss the underlying chord shapes first, okay? Because we're going to be using them to construct our licks. So this is going to be a 1-5-4 progression, and we're playing it today in the key of A. That gives us the chords A or A7. All right, the 5 would be E or E7. And then the 4 would be D or D7. Okay, so A7, E7, and D7. All right, so Key to the Highway is going to be built off of those chords. It's a little unconventional going from the 1 straight to the 5 chord, but that's what gives this, this song its kind of special character. All right, now adding some structure to that, we'd have, I got the key to the highway. I'm booked and bound to go. We double that D7 chord. I'm going way down south to where I'm better known. Then the turnaround. And there's so many different ways of forming those chords. You can use 9ths. Okay, just like that. You can also throw in a diminished passing chord. And then a turnaround. Okay. Now that you understand the underlying chords, let's get started learning some licks for each of the changes. Getting started with line number 1 of our tab, going from an A to an E change, 1 to 5. Sounds like this. A 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm starting off picturing my A7 chord and also my overlapping scales, or perhaps the major pentatonic. All right, we're gonna play. Okay, so it's very Stevie Ray Vaughan style. We're starting off on the 7th fret of the A string, alternating with 4 on the D string. Then to the root note, then some sweet double stops. So that was 7-7 on the D. Next, we're going to bar 5th fret of the G and B string and hammer up a half step up to fret number 6, minor third to major third. 7 and 7, then back. Okay, and right there we have a classic lick for the 1 chord A. Next, we need the transition over to the 5 chord E. Okay, so right there, I played some open strings. Next, I'm picturing my E chord, played as a C shape. And overlapping with that chord, we have a major pentatonic scale. It's always easiest just to picture pentatonics. Okay, one more time, so. All right, so we played some open strings, then the root note. Next, we're gonna walk up. That was 4, 5, slide up to 6, then find the root note on the B string, 5th fret. Next, I'm gonna picture the E7 chord played in its A shape and play some nice harmonized sixths. All right, so that was frets 7 and 7, up a half step, and then finding frets 9 and 9 of the D and B string. You put that together and we have. All right, now moving on to line number 2 of our tab. This is where we're gonna have the D dominant 7 chord. And then an optional D sharp diminished 7 chord, which usually the rhythm player doesn't play, but the lead player can certainly imply it with their licks, which is exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna picture the D7 chord right here in its 10th fret position. And then that diminished chord shape right here a half step above it. And keep in mind, right here on the tab, I have the chord shapes that I'm visualizing for each lick. All right, so over that, I'm gonna play. All right, and then that'll get us into the next line of music. One more time, real slow. Okay, so I started off picturing the D7 chord. I'm gonna grab that little piece of the triad, slide up to fret number 11, and then kind of strum through the chord. Next, walk down chromatically. 12, 11, 10. Then finally. All right, I'm grabbing 13 of the B string and then going down to fret number 10. This is a position that a lot of people will recognize as BB's box. All right, you put that lick together and we have. All right, now we need a second lick for the next measure of D dominant 7, and we might as well imply that optional diminished passing chord. Okay, it's gonna look and sound like this. Okay, let's break that up into 2 parts. Part 1. All of that is just implying D dominant 7. I'm sliding up to the major 3rd, 14th fret of the high E string with a little bit of a rake. Then 10, 10, 12, and then we're gonna slide minor 3rd to major 3rd on the G string. So, okay, picture that dominant 7, and also your pentatonic scales and whatever else. All right, one more time. All right, now we have the opportunity to throw in that diminished sound. All All right, right there, I've got the diminished chord. I'm playing 14, 13, 11, slide down to 10, and then we're back into pentatonic country over the D chord. 13, down to 10. All right, put that entire lick together and we have. And everything you have so far, A, E, D, diminished. Now the final line of music, we're back to the 1 chord A, moving into the 5 chord, then we have the turnaround. Okay, so as we go back to the 1 chord A7, I'm gonna picture it here in its octave A shape. Overlapping with that, we have the minor pentatonic scale. And we're gonna play. That's the first lick. All right, that was 12, 13, and then 14 with some vibrato. Notice those slight bends. Next, we're gonna do a hammer pull, 12, 14, 12, and then to the root note of the next chord, which is E. Okay, you put that together and we have. Here comes the E chord, where we're gonna play. Right back to the A chord, where we can start our turnaround. Okay, that descending lick over the E7 chord, nice and fancy. And real slow. Okay, so it's a series of triplets. Triplet number 1. All right, that was 12 and 12, B and high A. Then 15, 12 on the B. Triplet number 2. That was 14 on the G, a hammer pull, and then 14th fret of the D string, somewhat unconventional there. Then triplet number 3. That was 12 on the D string, a slide on the A string, 14 to 12, and then to the 10th fret of the A string. So far you have. Next, we're just gonna walk up. And that'll set you up for the turnaround. Put that together and we have. Now let's get the notes we need for the turnaround. That's 12 and 10, A string and B string, 10 and 10, 9 and 10, 8 and 10, 7 and 10. And you can kind of alternate back and forth between those notes any way you like. So. The last 2 notes I like to pair together. Then finally, you can picture an E9 chord shape sharped up a half step. So that's F7 or F9. All right, and then going down to the 5 chord. All right, very, very common blues convention there. Great way to wrap up a solo. All right, you put that last part together and we have. All right, now see if you can play through the entire solo for me. A 1, 2, 3. Alright everybody, thanks so much for jamming with me today. I hope this concept of following the chord changes, looking for those overlapping scales and arpeggios is helpful to you. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And real quick, I want to thank my patrons for making all these lessons possible. I hope you're enjoying those extra resources. And until next time, this is Rob coming at you from the Jersey Shore, saying happy picking.